Yeah, definitely. His debut album, Sensational, off of Giant, I believe it had some of the big name heavyweight producers like Chucky Thompson, Babyface, Puffy, and it's sad that it didn't blow up like that because I Wanna Love Like That was a hot single.
Yeah, and I didn't know that he had all the personal problems that he had.
Yeah, man, cause I had read like online, I found out that he passed away. It was through like one of those media rumor sites, and I was like, nah, it's a joke. So I went to like an official site, like, okay, he died. Then come to find out that he died basically like huffing Freon.
Yeah, the hustling Freon.
Yeah, and basically like out of all the artists I've done interviewed in the past 3 years of doing this show, it basically just showed me like this business. If you don't have your mind right, it could eat you up.
Destroy you if you don't have your mind right, and if you're not with God. I mean, I think God has been so good to me. God has been my all in all. Teddy and I have talked about it over a period of time about, getting back together, and we've talked about God, and we've talked about, our relationship with Jesus Christ, and with my family, my wife, and Jesus Christ, and people who really still, are my true friends. I mean, that has held me up, and the fact that God still allows me to work in this business and play this game, that I've been able to really take care of my family and make right choices,
Right.
and it's tough a lot for other people who lose their way, so.
Yeah, now tell me about the group Legend.
Yeah, again, Legit was a group that my solo record, even though it didn't have big notoriety or whatever, it was still very, very, very popular. It still sold over 400,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And so Benny Medina, who was the president up at Warner Brothers Records, because Warner Brothers was the major to Tommy Boy Records. They was, Tommy Boy was a subsidiary. To Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So Benny Medina and Ernie Singleton, they called me up to the office, and basically they wanted to give me another a record. And so and Leonard Richardson, who was, if I could see him again, he was an attorney, but he was also an A&R up at Warner Brothers Records during that time. And he supported me like none other. He really believed in us and whatever. And I don't really believe that I did him justice because, again, so much money was passed my way at the time. And I was doing, at the time, you have to remember I had the #1 record on Keith Sweat. I was working with all these other artists. I was doing Big Woken. I had separated, but big things was happening. And so Warner Brothers gave me this money to put together. And instead of putting together another solo record, I said, well, let me give my brother and them opportunity to really hit. And I should have, I don't regret doing it, but at the same time, I regret doing it because if you don't understand this business and you're not in it for the love and, you don't know what this business entails, and you just think it's about parties and money, you can get caught up in that as well. And I think I allowed Legend to do that. I mean, great talent with Ron Wilson, Scott Weatherspoon, Eric, and Larry Gatling, I think, who was my brother at the time, they got into this, they loved it, but they basically entrusted me with their careers, and but they didn't really know about the hard work.
Right. They just only saw like the one side of it, what the TV shows you.
Exactly. And I almost spoiled them too because when they came into it, big advances and clothes and.
So basically, in the words of Jim Jones, ballin'.
Exactly. And so but it didn't happen. That record didn't happen like it was supposed to happen. And I think that was a devastating. It wasn't a shock to me. Because I did a lot of wrong things that I never did before that, and never will do again.
Right.
So I learned from that mistake.
Right. So basically, we popping champagne every night. We popping bottles like we winning the championship. We going to the spotlight. We wearing our Dapper Dan suits and all that good stuff.
Exactly, my man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So basically, y'all were living the Nino Brown lifestyle from New Jack City.
For real.
That hard. And I kind of feel like kids in my era, it's kind of like in 10, 20 years from now, are we going to be singing Crank That Soldier Boy? I kind of feel like, I was born in '85, so I was like a little kid, and like
Right.
doing New Jack, and basically I came of age doing hip hop soul, and basically it kind of feels like my era is kind of like, are we gonna have like a song like "Piece of My Love" or "King Stand the Rain" or "Groove Me" 10, 20 years from now from this generation? Because in the state of the music business right now, record sales are down, and it's a shame that it has to take something like a battle between Kanye and 50 to help rejuvenate record sales a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, and you know, I wish this broadcast can go over, you know, across nationally, and they can really hear what I'm saying right now, because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We have put so much into these kids talking about, you know, how to disrespect women, how to disrespect girls, diamonds, balling, champagne, caviar, get your money, man, robbing, this and that. Rap, we allowed rap, which is, I love rap. I love rap for what it was. I love rap for what it is. I love different artists of rap. I'm a big fan of Jay-Z's. I'm a big fan of 50. I'm a big fan of Dr. Dre. I was a big fan of Tupac, Biggie, and all that. But at the same time, you can't take away from R&B and put everything in the one pot. And when you put everything in the one pot and that dissipates, you have nothing left. They took everything from the singer's standpoint and the R&B standpoint and gave it over to rap, and let rap basically dictate the whole entire industry. And no one was something. They VPs and presidents of labels. Even now, it's kind of hard to get a tight R&B record. You only got 2 or 3 back when we was in '88, even in the '90s. You had an onslaught of different artists that you could pick from. Now the only thing you got is a Chris Brown, Neo, if that, and a Mario, if that.
Right.
That's representing R&B. And you have Rihanna and Beyonce, but it's only that you could count on one hand the different artists that's really repping R&B.
So
you know, before you couldn't remember them all because there was so many. You had everything from Keith Sweat to Johnny Kemp, Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, Mint Condition, Guy, True, Levert, you know?
So basically, nowadays, it's very scarce, limited selection.
But it's you could see it in the numbers. You could see it in the numbers. And now the record sales and everything is down because you have nothing else. That's not like that in the country department. It's not like that in the pop department. So why does it have to be like that in the black department?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that one. Now, this single, tell me about Sweat Drops with Keith Sweat. I mean, when you hear Sweat Drops, you should automatically think junior high school dance, people sweating, grinding, last dance of the night, somebody ready to get lucky and turn on Dot Box and Be Fresh, Show Love at the end of the night.
Well, that was one of the first songs that I written, like one of the first songs that I written when I was recording the solo album. I think one of the best songs that really didn't have a chance to really shine, but I love that song.
Sweat Drops?
I love it. I love that song, and that's exactly what I was thinking of. Exactly what I was thinking of. But only I was thinking about, like, in New York where you have those basement parties and
blue light basements.
Yeah, them basement parties and them, you know, them clubs, them center parties, you know, them youth center parties where, you know, the lights go down and you rubbing and it's the last 2-3 songs of the night and it's slow and you got the one you want to be with, and that's where that whole song came from.
Right. You can definitely feel that, like in like the song, and also too, what was your thoughts on Dino, a white pop artist who basically had R&B undertones with "I Like It" and the very I'll Be Sure-esque 24/7?